I hate going to restaurants and having rice that's stodgy or looking like a pilaf.
Yeah, so you want a really sort of fluffy,
tasty risotto. So, and vegetarians, they have desire to have a flavoursome dish as much as anyone else. So, make it interesting. Use fresh herbs. Use something like the rocket to give it this peppery texture. I'm going to fold back in at the end the risotto, some of the sun-blushed tomatoes that we've taken here. Now, you can buy sun-blushed tomatoes in the supermarket.
Now, is there a difference between sun-blush and sun-dry?
Yes, there is.
Huge amounts of different terms for, you know...
No, it's a good point. You know, if you buy sun-dried tomatoes, they are completely dry. Yeah. They've been left out in the sun with a little bit of sea soap. Sun-blushed is where they're sort of half-dried, and they generally come in olive oil. Okay. Okay, so there is a distinction between the two.
So you've put the tomatoes in. There's sun-blushed tomatoes now in the risotto with the remains of the...
Now, I like to chop my basil down a bit more, because the more you chop it, the less you have to use, and the more the distribution of the flavour.
Now, I put some parmesan there, stirred in at the end.
Well, listen, I've got a little bit of parmesan. In goes the mascarpone cheese.
Why mascarpone? What is mascarpone? Where does it come from? And
mascarpone cheese is Italian, of course. Yeah. Okay. Instead of using whipped cream or like that to finish, mascarpone cheese is just lovely. It's almost just melting in. It's quite rich. Okay. Not necessarily healthy. Not like using something like yogurt, but it's delicious as well. Got a lot of fat
bit of olive oil. You put the rocket in it as well. Now the rocket in at the last moment, so it sort of wilts rather than cooks. You want that pepperiness coming out as well.
I do. I think a lot of people look at salads and say, you know, they're great. Salads are great. You know, let's make a salad out of it. Yeah. We forget you can cook with it. You can cook with it. You can put it in at the end and let it wilt down. It becomes very, very tasty. This is a really tasty dish. A little bit more parmesan, and I've got a little bit of extra rocket, which I'm just going to use to dress. I've got some tomatoes as well, a little bit of pepper and a bit of salt just to finish off. Now, this is great. If you don't like basil, you can use tarragon, equally as good. Yeah. I think basil's fantastic with the tomatoes. It's a classic mix. Look how light the risotto is. You know?
I mean, you've got this Italian medley of flavours. You've got the intensified tomatoes, you've got the basil, you've got the peppery rocket, you've got the very rich mascarpone, the slightly salty parmesan, and the toothsome risotto. I mean, this is an Italian triumph.
It is, and it's simple to do. It's something that you can do at home, and I'm going to finish it by having just a simple bit of rocket. Yeah. I'm also going to take some of these tomatoes and just dress on top as well, so that they're part of the garnish. Let's take the leaves and just sprinkle them over. And, you know, parmesan's great. Serve it on the side or do some shavings, put it on after, and then a little bit of cracked pepper. And, you know, go on. Just a little bit more olive oil to finish.
But I suppose it would be rude not to invite Desi up to come and have the first mouthful of this vegetarian risotto. I never thought I'd say wonderful vegetarian risotto, but, you know, this has changed my mind. Grab a spoon, Desi, and dig in.
Are we all right at a nibble? Oh, okay. Well, it is the colour of the Italian flag. You realise that?
It's like...
Tricolore.
Now, what's that like, Desi?
That is delicious.
For Michael's risotto, you'll need to buy a bunch of rocket, basil and thyme. You also need some cherry tomatoes, shallots and garlic. Also buy 2 cheeses, parmesan and mascarpone. From the store cupboard, grab some arborio risotto rice, some olive oil and vegetable stock.